Attention gamers, I have a confession to make. You see, the other day I was building up my tolerance to literal torture by playing solo queue alone as an ADC when Sweeney Todd's daughter found herself in a situation where I knew she would be fleeing our forest. I'll pop a Godzilla arrow out the freezer just for her, I thought, until this happened. At that moment I knew exactly what happened and was ready to make a public statement, welcoming the backseaters telling me I can change settings in my game to prevent that crap, or that I can purchase a noose for myself on Amazon. Typical League of Legends viewer things, right? But then as I was editing the clip I realized something was off. I went frame by frame, watching my cursor like it was a pair of floppy tits in a low-cut tee, waiting for the moment I jerked it behind me towards my base. I found the exact frame, I triggered my alt to see where my cursor was, and after thorough investigation, I have to apologize. On behalf of Riot, fix your fucking game, you incompetent idiots. People would have thought I was a bad player if they saw that play without context. Anyways, on to the mathematically perfect build for ADCs. You've probably seen Kaisa rushing Glaive like she just woke up from a 3-week bender of nothing but Adderall and Pedialytes and purchased the first thing she saw, and now everyone is talking about it. I go to my dad and I'm like, hey, have you heard about this new Vivek guy running for president? And he's all like, fuck that conversation, there's this wide-hipped alien hentai looking character that's building a support item. So I figured I would explain why it's so popular. Right now, with just a glaive and 3 long swords, you can evolve your Q on Kaisa. The most gold efficient way to get to her biggest power spike. And then with tier 2 Nikes and one of Baron's molars, you can effectively have all 3 of your abilities evolved, making you insanely strong insanely early for insanely low amounts of cash. So today I figured I would show firsthand why everyone is building this, and then see if this combination of items works on other ADCs as well, so that you know if you want to get fed like this, then you get these, and if you want to get fed like this, you get this. Now that I've wooed you with the sickest food transition of all time, hear me out. I once heard that humans will die if they stop eating, so I promise what I'm about to say is relevant. Factor is a pre-made food delivery service that is cheaper, better tasting, and more reliably consistent than enslaving Gordon Ramsay himself in your basement and making him work for you. Restaurants make me go broke, fast food makes me go to the bathroom, and cooking myself makes no sense because that requires effort, which is why I rely on Factor for at least 60% of what I eat in my life. It's super easy. You go to their site and select if you want the chef to surprise you, or if you are trying to trim down on the fatness, or maybe you have some limitations or just want to grow some damn biceps with more protein. You check out the meals they have and place your order. Bam, pre-packed goodness ready to be popped into the microwave or oven is delivered to your door, and if you use my link in the description and use code POGRAVOctober50 you can get your order half off today. And let's get into the games. Alright, so it's worth noting I played Kaisa top in game 1 as I didn't want to go bot because I'm too socially awkward to make small talk with a support who I will likely hate by the end of laning phase, and queuing mid just means you'll get your secondary role. So in champ select, when they questioned me, I just said I'm sending it, and that was that. I was laning against Nacho Libre Volibear, and early game there was a bit of mutual respect as he knew I was a ranged top laner, and I knew that all those TikTok videos of people who have befriended bears will all eventually end in that thing getting a free dinner one night. So I stayed out of the Zeus Deuce, lit the shitter on fire, and kept my distance to pull off the first solo bolo. Turns out this guy either plays a lot of Singed, or he's one of those Twitch viewers that says things like "we shilling" in chat because he starts proxying my wave as if that's a good idea in any galaxy. So my plan turns into waiting for the little midget wizards to throw shit at him until he's ready to say his safe word and then come in to get credit for the kill. Turns out he just wanted to shove static things up my shithole, which would have worked if he wasn't utter dog shit. So the brief conversation we had leaves us both feeling fatigued and hoping someone else will come and finish the job for us. He heads into the tall grass thinking I'm just going to walk in there like it's a surprise party, but this ain't my first rodeo, you piece of polar shit. So I RSVP no to that one with a W. At this point I'm not sure what about the last 2 solo kills on him makes him want to complain about me getting ganks, but delusional is just one of many adjectives that describes feeding League of Legends players, I guess. Anyways, if you live in the Northeast right now, your mom is probably texting you about these lantern flies infesting the area, and you should respond by telling her about the big beetles with eyes on their back, because those are what's worth worrying about instead. Anyways, we get the objective while furry Jack Black is over here trying to Jake Paul my ass, and eventually they all start ignoring me because apparently floating ghastlies are worth more of their attention, which quite frankly pisses me off. So I zoom in there and kill the fat oak tree wearing pajamas. Then I know if I space better than the bar that sits between two alt keys on a standard keyboard I can kill the rest. Side note, you have to subscribe if you just look down at your keyboard, but anyways it ends with just this cheddar dipped fuzzy feeder failing to come in contact with anyone until he withers away and gets sent back to base. I inform him that he was correct and that I am both range and I do particularly enjoy being the recipient of ganks, but in this case it's not needed because he clearly hasn't recovered from falling into that fondue pot, and now landing at W means I can shift shitter in for another easy breezy beautiful solo bolo. I do end up calling Nocturne and being like, wouldn't it be kind of funny if you did gank, thinking it would make this molding moron madder than a mosquito at a mannequin factory, and so no cooldown is spared in the effort to piss off Pablo Escobar Volibear with an actual gank. Then the best part about getting so ahead on a solo laner is that the other kids on the playground are literally still 9s while you are almost a teenager already sprouting little pubes on your ballsack, which means the interactions with them are just not going to be fair. 2 of them die, leaving just Kitten Simp Onesie Maokai left to cosplay the Giving Tree for our Aphelios. We take down a tower and I start acting like I'm above the law, which in this case is thou shall not path like a dipshit, to which I think I may donate a shutdown, but then I remember I'm smoother than these prepubescent 9-year-olds' gooch skin, so I stylishly disinvite Maokai from my presence, then let that fat bonbon distributor give me a sack of cash. This leaves Wanda, who thinks turning me into an overpriced zoo gift shop stuffed animal is going to do anything but delay her own death. Then, since I'm hard stuck gold for life and the last team fight over 0 objectives in the enemy forest went so well, I'm at it again, but this time I promised a few buddies I would meet up with them before they got to the party because I wanted to show them how all 3 of my abilities were evolved already, and let's just say the presentation knocked everyone in attendance dead. We are now playing Jenga with their inhibitor tower, but I'm more thinking I can slide into that Lulu's DMs and knock her socks off with some riff riz, if you know what I'm saying. At this point I've played a pretty perfect game by my own measly hard stuck standards, so I know loyal viewers of my channel are just waiting for me to royally fuck up, and after all I can't disappoint and go against my own brand, so with that I'd like to present to you what I call Gold Elo Greed. Joking aside, we had one more team fight where I took the Chinese bun bitch and coughed in her face. The sleepy fern fuckboy thought ulting us would set him free, but that shitter got sapped, and then it was just a matter of reminding their bot lane that under no terms is the current state of this game going to let them do anything to stop how fed this particular top laner has gotten, so I think that serves as some pretty deafening evidence into why this particular mathematically perfect Kaisa build is so strong, and I was ready to move on, take something great and fuck it up by trying it on Ashe mid. I'm against a Cassidon here, who I know I'm going to bully early worse than I did in grade school for having a lisp. If you don't believe me, full voice reveal on my second channel, Boosted Betty for raw ranked climb daily uploads, but shameless plug to a channel that isn't demonetized aside, I knew I would eventually get ganked. Fortunately I too had a butt buddy in the area, plus Frankenstein over here can't heal up if he's lit on fire, so put that in the L column for the enemy team. Then I'm getting greedier than Kanye's first Jewish manager because I want this plate, knowing damn well that Minecraft looking fuckface will be back, but I know if I stay calm, pace out my abilities, and then flash a wall leaving my own jungler capital D dicked as I post up like a tower defense NPC, I will be able to leave the sight of my own friend's death a wealthier woman. This leaves us both lower than my bank account balance every time Riot releases a new Lux skin, and I just know that Cosmic Calamari is gonna try to make a move, but he's clearly a bit understaffed in the thinking department, so it ends poorly for him. I now have Umbral Glaive, which means wards are going to get erased faster than that one indecent exposure charge on my permanent record. Shout out to lawyers if you know what I'm saying, but also keep your penis in your pants at Denny's. But long story short, slobbering Solomon wants me dead, but sucks for him. I know how to work a rift clit, which is a vast contrast to my real life. Hey, let's get back to the game commentary. I ended up getting a kill. I get my tower and then decide to see if a scouting headwig will show me where that little Frankenfuck has run off to, knowing that if he wanted to get in a debate about climate change I can just light him on fire and say something stupid about icebergs or ice arrows or some shit. Turns out there's a bit of a dispute over the haircut our top laner received by theirs, and now the little Barbie barber is trying to get away without sharing her insurance information, so I put a stop to that bullshit, and then I make sure I convince this Mundo that the only place he pleases to go is back to his own base alone. I head bot and I'm all like knock knock, and their support is like who dare, and I'm like, Renata, you glad I didn't say banana bitch? As she fires a Nami ult at me I sprinkle her little COPD lung tits with Tic Tacs before letting her die of natural causes in favor of killing the fleeing octopus instead. This results in Mundo being more outnumbered than a young Riley Reid on a casting couch, which to finish the analogy ends in him getting fucked from all angles. Calm down, she still died. Calm down, they both died. This isn't an instructional video on how to land skill shots, it's a documentary of my life on the Rift, which leads us to the clip at the start of the video where Riot Games literally trolled me harder than the Janna jungle I got in my last ranked game, which long story short lost us the game, so I'll be expecting an apology in the mail, Riot, and for the rest of you I recommend only using the Kaisa build on Kaisa. Until next week when I clickbait that it's good on some other champ. Rav out.